Hi my friends, Marissa here. Welcome to my divination channel. I'm so honored and happy to be sharing space with you guys today. These readings were honestly so fun to film. I felt like switching things up a little bit, and while these are like more, they're meant to be like more lighthearted, they're actually still very revelatory in terms of what you guys are here for and your soul's purpose, your soul's intention for taking birth this time around. And if you guys have been engaging with my work for some time, you know that's what I'm all about. That's what I feel like is the most important for me and my expression in this life, is to really bring things back to the broader perspective in terms of what we're here for and how to hear our intuition, how to heed our intuition, how to align with our intuition so we're living a life of freedom and authenticity to the best of our ability. And this is a very interconnected journey we are a part of. And so the more that I set myself free, the more that you guys will set yourselves free, and vice versa. The more we just give each other permission to ground this new earth energy that we all have within us, that we all were born with, and as these light codes begin to activate within our DNA more and more. So very excited about these readings. There are 3 aspects to each pile: how you walk, how you talk, and your superpower in this life. So a gift that is very unique to you, that is just very blatant and obvious, no matter where you go, no matter what you're doing. So 3 piles to choose from today. As always, take your time. There's never any rush. And whenever you guys are feeling ready, we're going to hop right into these readings.
Hey group number 1, welcome to your reading. We're diving into what makes you a badass. I'm so excited because if there's one thing that I know to be true for sure about the people that are drawn to my channel, is that they are exactly that. Badass people that are serious about their mission and that are just such genuine, big-hearted, very tender-hearted and kind souls. So super excited to switch it up a bit and deep dive into a more lighthearted and fun kind of reading. So there are 3 aspects we're diving into today. First is how you walk, how you talk, and then your superpowers. So another way of saying that is like how you carry yourself, what your vibe is, what your expression is, how you express yourself, and then what it is that you're really gifted at in this life. Okay, so we're just gonna dive right into it. I'm working with a lot of decks today, so that's why today I just like shuffled off camera, but I shuffle the same on and off camera. So Spirit, we are asking for pile number 1, how does pile number 1 walk? How do they carry themselves? First, we have the Hermit, retreat and recharge. So you might be someone that how you carry yourself, I feel like you just give off this vibe that you have been through some stuff. Like you have a wisdom, like an air of wisdom about you. And you might be someone too that, like, I don't want to say you're unapproachable, but people, like, you seem like you have a lot on your mind, or you seem like you're like thinking about things a lot, or like you're really deep. There's something about how you carry yourself that comes across as very deep, or comes across as like you're deep in thought, or like you're, I don't want to say overly serious, but it just seems like you're really intentional with yourself, like the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, what you do with your life. But I feel like overall the energy is like very, I feel like even if you're like busy, you're friendly, you give off like a friendly energy, or like maybe not friendly, but like unassuming energy. Like I'm just getting the sense of like people are magnetized towards you. Okay, and so there might be some hesitation though, because they're not really sure, like, okay, is it okay for me to approach this person? What do they have going on? Because, I'm just seeing an image of like the lantern that the Hermit has, and, like the general tarot cards, and how like it's like moths to a flame, like your aura is so powerful. Maybe you are someone that meditates a lot, or like engages in, breath work, or those types of practices that help you just like center in your beingness, because I'm getting the sense that you do have a very powerful aura, a very powerful energy overall. And great posture. You have really great posture. Like you stand tall is kind of what I'm getting. Honor your inner knowing. So yeah, you come across, the air you give off is like someone that's really wise, someone that's like a natural teacher, someone that like knows who they are. You really seem like you really know who you are, and you've taken the time to get to know who you are. And even when you're not speaking, and we'll get into that soon, but even when you're not speaking, you give off an air of authority, pile number 1. And yeah, I feel like too, you're probably someone that is really like, you don't just go with the mainstream of things very easily. You really question why it is you're doing what you're doing. And wouldn't even be surprised if you're into like alternative like medicines and stuff like that. I don't like calling it alternative because it like, it's not alternative, it is medicine, you know? Just like herbs and stuff like that is actual medicine. Food is medicine, right? But yeah, that's a different tangent and different conversation for a different day. But I feel like you are someone that just like is kind of rebellious, but it only seems rebellious because you're like in integrity to your highest knowing, to your inner knowing, and that might be pretty rebellious to like the status quo and what everyone else is doing, because it can be so easy in this day and age to like just go about what everyone else is doing, to just, you know, not really question the systems or why we're doing what we're doing, and to just like go with it. And I feel like you're someone that you give off the vibe that you're really like intentional. You're very different. Like people are like, this is a rare individual. This is a really rare type of person. You don't come across this type of person very much. People feel like blessed to be in your presence and to like be your friend. And I feel like when you do talk, and again, we'll get into that, but just like people want to learn from you naturally. There's like so much wisdom that you hold. People always learn from you. Even in your like casual interactions, I'm seeing that you are someone that just like people are in awe of the stuff that you do say that does come out of your mouth, and they feel that when they're around you, but when they really get one-on-one with you, and we're kind of already leaking into more of the reading, so I'll for sure carry on. But yeah, I feel like when they are in your presence, there's just like so much they want to soak up. So hyena, yeah, you're in tune with the light and dark aspects of yourself for sure. You're someone that like, the thing about the hyena is it has almost like a dark humor, you know, and like a wittiness about them. So I feel like you're someone, again, that people recognize that this person has been through a lot. That came through in the very beginning. They're like, wow, like this person is so light. I can feel that the reason why they're so light and so wise is because they've been through some stuff. You know, you don't exude this type of energy without kind of being put through the ringer and going through those initiatory phases. So next we have Page of Wands in reverse. You don't really hesitate. Like when you want something, you go after it, is what I'm getting. So someone that's really sure of themselves, someone that doesn't like settle down too easily either, is what I'm getting. Like you're someone that isn't in a rush to like have all the answers or anything. You're not someone that's like in a rush to settle, or, you know, it's like you're always asking questions to your inner self. You're more committed to your internal truth than you are to being consistent, is what I'm getting. And yeah, I feel like, again, with temperance, this is, again, the notion that you've been through a lot. You've done a lot of healing. You've done a lot of work on yourself. It's very clear how much work you've done on yourself and how well you know each other. Two of Cups. So you're very like, you give off this energy of being friendly. I was getting that. I feel like if anything, people just might be a little intimidated of your energy at first because it's so like powerful. It's so potent. And again, especially if you practice like things like meditation, that helps to fine tune our awareness, and it increases our potency and our magnetism, our radiance. But overall, I feel like the vibe that you give off is someone that is like a really good friend. Like when you're here for someone, you're really there for someone. You're like a lifer. You're like a ride or die. You're someone that people really want to have on their team. And you give off the vibe that you see other people as equal, and that you really genuinely love people, and you like genuinely love being around people and love sharing your wisdom and love learning from other people too, is really what I'm getting. You're not just like, you know, that I'm drawn to how the cups are like giving and taking here. It's like you're not just like giving all the time or like thinking that you know it's best. I feel like you're really curious about other people and like other ways of living, and you acknowledge that there's like many different realities and ways of seeing life, etc. Seven of Cups. So yeah, the vibe you give off is that you have like a lot of options in life, that you can go so many different places, that you could even have like different skill sets, you know. But I feel like you could even be someone that's very social, have a lot of friends, have a lot of relationships too. Someone that's like kind of like a busybody, always like doing stuff, on to the next thing. I'm getting like a lot of like kind of mutable type of energy, but overall, I just feel like you have a big heart, and you're someone, yeah, this is like the heart. I think it's called the yantra in the back, the Sri yantra symbol. This is like the symbol of the heart chakra, and he's in a cave, which represents the heart. So there's a lot here that suggests that you are a very loving individual, and that what you do in life is led by love, right? What you do in life is led by your intuition. And yeah, I feel like you just have so much of that to give, and you have so many gifts to give, and your intuition is like leads you in so many different directions, and your life is like this moving, like beautiful poem is kind of what I'm getting. So that's really beautiful already. I'm loving this vibe, pal number one. So loving it, here for it. I would totally want to be your friend too. So we're going to get into how do you talk. So we have centering. Interesting. There's so much here. So yeah, I was really curious to see if like the vibe and the like expression were very similar. And I'm already getting a very similar vibe, not just with the words, you know, but like the images here with the eyes closed. It's like the place that you speak from is very authentic. You're speaking from an innermost truth. You're speaking from this like center. You're speaking from this place of inner knowing, and you speak with authority. And I feel like when you do speak, again, it's very inspiring. The hermit is like, takes its wisdom, or takes their wisdom that they've learned. It's self-sourced wisdom. And when you speak from that place, the level of authority, the degree of authority that is carried through the tones of like even just your vocal cords, you know, is very noticed. So I am even seeing that you speak from like more of your heart. There's a difference between like a chest voice and a head voice. When I was a fitness instructor, we talked about this a lot. The head voice is like when you're like up here and like, you know, it's like kind of regurgitated and it seems kind of inauthentic. And then the chest voice comes from a much deeper place. And it's just a place of like nothing to prove and really confident in what you have to say, confident in your delivery. And again, it's like, I'm noticing how both the crown chakra are illuminated here. And then again, that the potency of your auric field is something that is really highlighted here. So your wisdom, I feel like you speak about spiritual things, or you speak about things that even if they weren't, you wouldn't consider them spiritual in and of themselves. It's like there's a realness behind what you talk about. So I'm not getting that you're like a super superficial person, although I feel like you can go there. Like you can most certainly like meet people where they're at. But I feel like how you talk in general, like if you were to be the guide of a conversation, it would be on like deeper topics, things that are much more like, I don't know, important or like long lasting, I guess. Like you speak about truth, that kind of thing. So surrender. Yeah, I feel like you don't really have an agenda with people, and they like pick that up. Like you're just really surrendered to the present moment and what's coming up. And I feel like too, just the way that you talk is like, again, I'm consistently hearing that you have nothing to prove. So it's like, even though you have so much wisdom and you are like above and beyond what it, like your expression and how you share and what you share and the level of wisdom that you share from, it doesn't come off very show offy. It's very like authentic, and people get that from you. And, that's something that like, I feel like people are just left in awe when they have conversations with you. They're like, wow, like, I feel like you leave people speechless sometimes, pal number one, with the things that you say. And again, it's because you have so much passion and you've done this and you've like been exploring this in your life. And so, yeah, when you do talk to people or how you express yourself, I feel like it just leaves people in awe, and they see that you're not trying to like prove a point or trying to like make people think that you like know everything. You know, it just really is coming from this place of like self-sourced wisdom and just like really being centered in yourself and centered in your truth and nothing to prove. So how do you speak? Solar flares activate. Yeah, you really light a fire under people, and you really inspire people by the things that you talk about, by the things that you share. I feel like you awaken people to different ways of viewing things. I feel like even when people like are well versed in certain areas or like, you know, in certain fields, you bring the lens of perception you see from is very refreshing, and what you see through is very refreshing. So even if people are already like spiritual, I feel like just the way you express things and the way that you describe things, and I'm just using spirituality as an example, but that can apply to so many different things. Like, that can apply to just like if you're really good at cars or something, you know, the way that you teach, the way that you explain things is very unique, no matter how much someone else already kind of knows about a certain field. But in general, you are a teacher. I really am getting that sense that you activate people, you get people thinking in a new way, and you really empower people to also surrender to their inner greatness, their inner knowing. Mars with motion. I'm sorry, my sleep, I've been going through a ton of activations. My sleep schedule has been literally off since eclipse season in end of October, so just still adjusting to it. But yeah, you speak with a lot of passion for sure, and a lot of authority, and what you speak about, like you're very forward moving. You're like, okay, how do we become better versions of ourselves? You're very like, how do we continue moving? Like you're very motivational in how you speak. You get people motivated. And I feel like it's not even something that you try to do or that you're like trying to convey. It's just naturally you see things from a wide lens, and you see things from the level of like, all right, things are always changing. We're always expanding. We're always growing. And sometimes we're not, but I feel like even just that, even your surrendered sense of like, we don't always have to be growing. We don't always have to be doing this very like balanced approach to nature, or this very like more natural way of viewing growth and life, etc. Naturally gets people, activates people and expands people. Again, because I just feel like the type of truth that you speak from, the level of truth you speak from, naturally makes people want to be better. Like people come into your field and the things that you talk about, like I wouldn't be surprised if people say just the way that you see life is so inspiring. It's like so refreshing, or like they're just in general, just like when people leave your presence, they really feel like they left with like something new. I'm even seeing that people consistently, when they like hang out with you and talk with you, they consistently will like remember something that you said. Like even years down the line, like I'll never forget this one time when you said this, and it completely changed my outlook on A, B, C, and D. And like where you speak from and the degree of truth you speak from really helps set people free and gets them really motivated, and reminds them that they can live a passionate life, that they can live a life that is very active and, you know, forward moving, but also grounded and centered in truth, right? With nothing to prove. So, yeah, how you talk, 3 of Cups coming up. So yeah, I feel like a big part of what I wouldn't be surprised if you consistently speak on just like the people in your life and how grateful you are to have them. And I feel like in general too, this is saying that you don't realize how much, pile number 1, you actually impact the people in your life when you do just speak from a place of like centeredness. And even when it's you feel like you're not even speaking on profound things because it's just like normal and just how you see things, I feel like people are always learning from you when they're around you and when you do speak. We have the Sun and we have Death. So yeah, there's something that's extremely transformative about being in your presence and hearing you talk, and your expression in general is very bright, but it's also really real. It's like you can bring light and clarity and comfort to aspects of life that are kind of like hard to talk about. It's like there's a comfort that you bring in terms of the human experience, in terms of this journey that we all find ourselves on. There's a level of comfort and just like, oh, it's all going to be okay. You know, something about your expression, it's all going to be okay. You know, no matter what's happening, like, okay, this is good. We're going to make it through this is really what I'm getting. And again, you just like, I feel like you're a very uplifting person. Like, you're very positive. People love being in your presence, love being around you. I feel like words of affirmation might even be something that is like one of your main love languages, just because I am seeing so much that how you make other people feel, like you pull the greatness out of other people. You like see their greatness. You would be someone that I feel like sees the best in everyone, no matter like what their actions are saying. Like you can really feel into their potential, and I feel like you draw it out of them. But yeah, something about your expression is just like really inspires transformation and growth and positive momentum forward. So lastly, we're going to get into your superpower in this life. One of them, because you probably have many of them. So first we have fork in the road. I don't really know where I'm going to put these yet. First we have fork in the road. Then we have no place like home. Yeah, there was that like kind of like mutable energy that I was getting, like always moving. And then we have chop wood. Let's see. And lastly, we have called soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. So yeah, you're definitely meant to be like a teacher. I feel like you're meant to help people like find their innermost self too. Like you're here to help people unlock their own wisdom within, and you show people how to like tune into their wisdom and how to like recognize their own truth in order to make decisions in life, in order to like, you know, just honor their highest truth, right? And you help people understand like their calling in some sort of way. Like your superpower is like helping other people, but I feel like it's you also do this. You lead a life that is very soul led. So when you're making a decision, it's always from a place of like, okay, does this feel like what I'm here for? Is this actually in integrity with, you know, what I feel like my soul's mission is? I feel like you are someone that no matter what you're doing, no matter what life gives you, you're always seeing the positive aspects of things. Like you're always seeing how this situation was perfect, even if it was something that you wouldn't wish upon your worst enemy, I feel like you still wouldn't take anything away from your life in terms of the paths that you've been down and what you've explored, because it's led you deeper and deeper into yourself. And to get to the level of wisdom that I see you're operating at, pile number one, you have had to have been through many, initiations. Like, it's that fire of purification. You purify, the more you embody truth and can speak from this level of wisdom that I see that you guys speak from and that you exude. It takes purifying the density, right? It takes, suffering is what is one of our main catalysts for purification, along with like meditation, breathwork, etc., to remove density, to lift the veils of illusion. And so I feel like, again, I'm getting this sense that your superpower is like, you're not in a rush, like you're very surrendered to the process of things, but at the same time, you're here for something big. You're here for something big. And so you're consistently moving in that direction. And at the same time, you like honor the mundane things of life. You honor like the small things in life. So yeah, it's like very like this beautiful like paradox of, I'm here for something big, and then also none of this matters, like everything is so meaningful and also everything is so meaningless. It's like this very beautiful in between. And I'm not surprised, because they say the highest truths are paradoxical in nature, and you really are operating from very high levels of wisdom, pile number one. But yeah, in general, I just feel like you're consistently up leveling, you're consistently meeting like forks in the road, because it's like you're on an accelerated path. You're on an accelerated path, an accelerated timeline, because you're so in tune with your intuition. And at the same time, it feels like more and more you just are unlocking this wellspring of sweetness, and you're more and more, you just feel like so authentic and so genuine to yourself. And like, no matter where you go, you feel at home within yourself, because you're tuning into that part within yourself that is everywhere. You're tuning into that God spark, which is the fabric that makes up everything in existence, right? And so, yeah, I feel like your superpower is that you naturally are called into leadership positions because of the level of wisdom that you exude. But also, I feel like, if anything, it might have taken you a while to even recognize this within yourself, because just like, I feel like you've been through some shit and you've been humbled by life. And those are the best leaders in my most humble of opinions. But yeah, constantly like what everything that you're doing has purpose. Everything that you're doing, like, you wouldn't be someone that is caught in like a 9-to-5 that like is meaningless, or at the very least, even if you are, like, you'd search for a way to like make it meaningful, like in terms of like the relationships that you're in, and like how you inspire people there, and like, that kind of thing. Like, everything you do is infused with intention and meaning and truth and light. So we have judgment. Yeah, this is a beautiful way to, like, a beautiful summation. Your superpower is like, this is like, judgment is all about the way you make decisions is from the inside out. And this is about coming home to yourself, literally. Yeah, no place like home. More and more, you're just like becoming more of a seamless and finely tuned vessel, finely tuned expression of your soul self. This is so beautiful. Next, we have the Knight of Cups. So yeah, you're very charming, and life is very charmed by you, I feel. And there's this is actually talked about in the Yoga Sutras. Yoga Sutras is an ancient compilation of texts, about 200 sutras, where they're like little short, like, sayings. They're not even like sentences, but about, the science of life, or the science of the mind, which essentially our perception makes up our life, right? And so anyways, this is all to say that, like, because you have such a surrendered sense, and you practice meditation, and you practice, like, you're really okay with the whole notion of impermanence, and maybe you have experienced like quite a bit of death or just like loss in your life. And so impermanence is something that you're really comfortable with. And so because there's this sense of surrender, and you're not like clinging to life or clinging to things, it's like nature and life only beats us up when we're attaching too much to her. And I feel like you've gone through so much of that purification that, now it's like nature's working more with you, and it feels less like you're getting those kicks and those burns, because, nature wants a powerful co-creator, and you are someone that is becoming more and more, as the days roll on, a powerful co-creator. And so it just seems like things work out for you. Like, life is charmed by you and charmed by your authenticity. It's like that quote by Terence McKenna that is like, nature responds to boldness. And so when you take a bet on yourself and your life, it's like the forces of nature bend to work in your favor. And I see that happening for you, pile number 1. And yeah, your superpower is how you have taken your grief and you have taken your heartbreaks and you've not allowed it to make you calloused, right? You've allowed it to break you open, and that it's like I'm getting that sense of rawness. There's so much here that's been coming through since the beginning about like just be the heart, coming from the heart. And if there's one thing I know to be true, none of us are spared from heartbreak on this planet, and it either leads us into one of two directions. It's either we allow those heartbreaks to be excuses or permission slips, whatever you want to call it, to build, walls around our hearts and protection mechanisms, or we allow it to break us open and we allow that tenderizing process to happen. And it does feel raw. It does feel like, like you're just being broken open and exposed. But I feel like one of your superpowers is everything that's happened to you, you've allowed it to transform you to the best of your ability. You've allowed it to transform you. And that's one of the reasons why you come across so surrendered and like you have nothing to prove, because like this is where true compassion is built, is because you've been put through the ringer, because firsthand suffering. So that's why like your heart is so open to other people. That's why you naturally have such a healing presence. And you are a natural healer and you have so much wisdom. It's because you have been put through the ringer. And yeah, this is so beautiful. This is like such a beautiful energy. Like I could soak in this like all day, but you are like the epitome of a badass. You're a natural teacher, a natural guide. You're here for the people. Wouldn't be surprised if you're building some sort of community, or you have a big vision in the future to like, create spaces to where you're teaching people these things that you have learned. And yeah, in some way, because I just see like it's so natural for you. You're such a natural teacher for, as long as probably you can remember. I'm just like getting the sense that even when you were younger, even before you had your awakenings or whatever, that you were spitting some wisdom, you were laying down some truth bombs that people still think about to this day. So this was so beautiful. I hope you watch this a few more times, because this is the gas and you deserve it. All right. Because I feel like even if people do tell you how amazing you are, pal number 1, like still it's like just to the nth degree, like it's such a small degree in terms of like the amount of impact that you make. And I feel like people too would even be like, oh, this person probably hears this all the time just because they're so amazing, that kind of thing. But keep doing it. Keep doing you, my friend. You're doing great things. You're doing God's work. Leave a comment down below if this was your pile. Go ahead and leave that little yoga person down below, the little meditating person. And like this video, please. It helps other people receive these healing and validating messages. And I hope to see you on my channel again soon. Much love. Hey, group number 2, welcome to your reading. This is about what makes you a badass. I'm so excited for this reading today, and just to switch things up a little bit, get a little bit, more lighthearted. I feel like it's very necessary now and then, because I know the readings I do on this channel can be deep, okay? And just like soul revealing. And this is also soul revealing in its own way, but so without too much rambling, there are 3 aspects to this reading today. We're going to dive into how you walk, how you talk, and your superpower in this life. So another way of saying that is like how you carry yourself, what your vibe is, then like your self-expression in this life, as well as just your gifts, something that you're like really, really good at, and like one of your main callings in this life. All right. So, I'm using a lot of decks today, so I just shuffled off camera. And yeah, we're just going to dive right into it. So we're asking the guides today, how does pile number 2 carry themselves? What is pile number 2's vibe? First, we have guardian angel, you are not alone. And next we have animal guardian. That was harder to read than it should have been. It's 10 o'clock at night, and I usually never do tarot readings this late, so bear with me. This is an adventure for both of us. So trust your instincts, and you're not alone. So it really seems like your vibe overall is you're someone that seems like you are guided by a higher power. It definitely feels like you have luck on your side. There's a lot of synchronicities that you get. I feel like most people, if they were to describe your vibe, it would be somewhat just like kind of like magical and ethereal. Someone that really knows who they are and where they're going. I feel like there's something here relevant about like like feathers, and just like what I'm getting from that symbology is that, that could be one of the ways that your guides communicate with you, first of all. But second of all, it's like you carry yourself very lightly. Like you don't like to carry a lot of baggage with you. You like to keep things light. It's probably because you've been through some shit, okay? When I normally see these codes, there's generally a reason why certain people just naturally like see I don't want to say naturally see the bright side, but it almost is like a natural thing that develops when we've just been through a lot, and when we've seen a lot of the dark sides of humanity and of just life on earth. We just really begin to operate from a level of seeing that, it's not worth it carrying around grudges or carrying around things that are super heavy. And so I feel like you're pretty light in terms of just like your energy and what you bring. It's like really fun to be around you. It feels like when people are around you, they leave feeling lighter. Like they leave feeling like they can trust themselves and that everything's going to be okay in a way. So it's like, I'm almost getting the sense that it's like a mini retreat when people come around you, and they just get like this higher perspective of life. And yeah, I feel like overall how you carry yourself is just someone that like is really tuned in to something much greater than themselves, and you walk with purpose. You carry yourself with purpose. And yeah, we're going to get a little bit deeper into your vibe with the otter. Yeah, very playful. I love this. So yeah, this is more of this like lighthearted energy. It's like you're very playful. You're very carefree in a way. And on one hand, I am getting the sense, because this is water, like you have a lot of depth to you. Like you can go deep with people. But at the same time, I feel like you just like to have fun. You like to like maybe even like go out, I'm not getting the sense that it's like you're like a typical spiritual person where it's like all of a sudden you demonize like things like having fun or, just the things that are relevant on planet Earth at this time, like drinking or, partying or, whatever it is. I feel like you guys have a very balanced approach to life in general, and people like to be around you. I was getting that sense that you're kind of like, you can be like the life of the party, especially when you're on, and when you're just super like, when you're just in a good headspace, and when you've had time to kind of like be by yourself, I'm getting the sense that you're like an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert, that kind of thing, where, you do need time to recharge, because I feel like you are pretty empathic, and I feel like people just like come to you for a lot of advice maybe, or just like really talking to you. And so it's not necessarily like the energy that we're picking up from other people, although, you can be sensitive and like understand what people are going through, but just talking alone, like uses up so much energy. And that's something that I am learning as like a reader and, someone that channels. I feel like it's a lot less about the channeling and it's more about just like the talking aspect of it. So I definitely am getting the sense that you're someone that people just like want to be around. You just have a very lighthearted energy, very carefree energy. And a big reason, like notice that this otter is surrounded by darkness, and it's almost like the light and the color that is in this image is being emanated from the otter itself. And I feel like that's just kind of the energy you bring to people. Like when people are going through a really tough time, especially, I just saw 555 on the clock. Yeah, it's like you help bring people out of their, lower states, and you just help people see a different way of, living and just like how to view. I feel like the way that you help people see their trials and tribulations, is really healing and really helps them release a big part of the heaviness of things, because it's like, I don't know, I'm getting the sense that like you almost have a dark humor maybe, or I just heard the phrase laugh at a funeral. I think that's part of like a Blink-182 song or something, but I feel like you're just an individual that, you help heal people, and you have this energy about you where you don't take things too seriously, but at the same time you like understand the reverence of life. And yeah, I feel like overall it just seems like, even if this is not your experience of yourself, it just seems like you move through life very gracefully, very easefully, and like you're not too worried about things. You're not too, concerned with your image. You're not too concerned with like survival. You're not too concerned with, keeping up with the Joneses. It's like you're very much like, where's the good vibe? And I'm going to be there, and really about following what feels good, following what feels light, and trusting that that's going to bring you the opportunities, the people, the connections, etc. So getting a little bit deeper, how do you carry yourself? 5 of Wands. We have the 8 of Wands, so much fire, and the 3 of Wands in reverse. So I really am getting the sense that it's like, I'm getting this sense, look at all this fire, first of all. Like, there's so much here about transformation. And I feel like your overall vibe, like, I'm getting the sense that the first impression that people might have of you is a little bit, like, not, like, they would be surprised once they start to really get to know you, Like, their first impression, I feel like is somewhat accurate of what you're about. And I feel like there's something about your expression that can be kind of triggering to people. And maybe it is because you're so carefree. Maybe it is because like you got a lot going on for you. Like, with all this fire, I'm getting the sense that you have a really good personality, that you are very transformative, and like you're always going through glow ups and, becoming a better version of yourself. And so I feel like at first, people's first impressions, depending on like where they're at in their journeys, can be a little bit like, they can be a little insecure around you, but I feel like you don't, like, even if you notice it, you don't feed off of that. You know how some people kind of feed off of people's like insecurities, or it like gives them a little bit of a gas up. I feel like you really neutralize that energy very quickly, and people realize that like, oh yeah, like we're just here to have fun, not here to like create any drama or anything. And I feel like you get a lot of downloads, and you are very inquisitive, and with all this fire is the great teacher. The fire element is the great teacher of life. And again, with the 5 of Wands energy, I'm getting the sense that you have digested a lot of wisdom from the turmoil that you've undergone in your life. And I feel like there is a lot here about rapid expansion and being on like an accelerated path, because you are tuned in to something greater than yourself, and you do your best to constantly be following your passion and constantly be following those things that really light you up and that you're here for. And with the 3 of Wands in reverse too, I am just getting the sense that people are like they're surprised by you when they meet you, but then like the more they get to know you, they're like really surprised by you. Like they're really blown away by your wit, by your intellectual capacities, by what you know, by what you do, what you embody. You have a lot of very powerful energy that is, working in your favor. And I feel like overall, you kind of stir up people's paradigms in a way that might be uncomfortable sometimes, because, people can get so attached to the way that they see things and the way that, the frameworks they've developed around their lives. And you're just here to kind of like bulldoze through those things. And again, with all this energy about like being light, we get light, we become light, literally light, by embodying more truth. Truth and light are pretty much synonymous, and shadow and density, heaviness are pretty synonymous. And so I feel like, if anything, the kind of conflict that can come up for other people around you is just because the way you see things so differently than other people, that it's like there could be an energy of like, who does this person think that they are, But I don't think that lasts very long. I feel like ultimately people see and can feel that you don't really have something to prove, but you're just here to kind of, I don't want to say battle the beliefs on this planet, but you're here to kind of like rebel against the limitations and rebel against the darkness, rebel against the falsity and the illusion on the planet to help lighten the load. But there's so much here about transformation and rapid expansion and just being super lighthearted. I am getting strong Sag energy. Like when I first pulled the otter, I heard strong Sagittarius energy and just like ninth house placements in general. But obviously any like significant fire sign placements, but I am getting something about Sag, and that could also just be a symbol for always moving, naturally rebellious, very light, doesn't want to be tied down, and just questioning, right? Questioning the systems and not really having a filter too. That might be something that gets you in trouble sometimes, is like you don't have a filter, or you just kind of say what is on your mind. And, that Sagittarius, like at least, because I'm Sag rising, and so this is not my experience of myself, but I know like Sag suns, for example, or people with other like strong Sag in their chart, where it's like I used to get it would be hard for me to be around them, because like I would think that they were trying to like start a fight with me or something, but it's just like they don't have a filter. They just say what they think, and a lot of the times it's not like malicious, but because I'm not used to, and a lot of people aren't used to people being so blunt and straightforward, that it was like kind of triggering to be around. And I'm kind of getting that sense too. Again, whether or not you have Sag, this is just like the symbol the guides are using for me in order to get deeper into your energy and to understand your like expression and your vibe even more. So to get into your expression and like how you talk in this life, we have centering with Tara. We have shapeshifting with Vila. And we have Shakti energy. So this is so powerful. So much divine feminine energy here. Again, there is a lot, I was getting that a lot of like mutable energy. So again, more of that Sag, Sag, Pisces, Virgo, Gemini kind of energy. So someone that's always moving, shape-shifting, someone that is, again, centered within themselves and looks within in order to make sense of the without. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if you guys have some sort of like practice where you're doing like energy work, where you're very conscious about energy and like aligning your chakras and, moving the energy up the spine. A different way of saying that is you're really conscientious about, this is pretty much the fire element, where it's like always becoming more radiant, becoming more finely tuned in your awareness. So experiencing more peaceful states of reality, and the way that we experience more peaceful states of reality and become lighter in our expression and purify the density is through things like meditation and like being immersed in spiritual work, spiritual texts, philosophical texts, things that remind us the bigger picture, because density comes from, being so consumed in our own narrative and, our own life. I was just listening to this beautiful audiobook by Nisargadatta. I know I just butchered that, but he's a Vedic teacher, very well-known, popular Vedic teacher. And he was saying that, a lot of people think that their life is like the way things are, but most people, their life is very personal. It's very personal to them. It's very like exclusive, and a lot of people can't relate all the time. But true life, or true living, and true being in alignment with life, or someone that is lighter in their expression, is someone that is not identifying so much with their narratives, their storylines, etc. And so I am getting that in terms of your expression, your self-expression. You're someone that doesn't really like hold on too tightly. Like, I feel like you can call upon experiences that you've had in this life when it's relevant to like as like a teaching experience. But in general, I feel like you're really centered in truth, and you're really centered in like the you're really centered in the impermanent nature of reality, and very like focused as much as you can remember to be like in the here and now, and to not get so swept away by like who you think you've been. Again, I was getting that sense of traveling light. That used to be something I would say all the time, travel light. I actually have it tattooed on my body, travel light. And that's what it means, is like you're not taking more than what you need. Old identity is you're not carrying more than what you need, and like into the present moment, and meeting life as much as you can from the here and now, and letting people surprise you, letting yourself surprise yourself. So I'm getting the sense that purification is really important to you in this life, and a big part of your expression probably has to do with this. It has to do with energy work. It has to do with centering. It has to do with grounding. It has to do with spirituality. It has to do with becoming a lighter, more pure version of yourself. Like, there's so much here about wings and feathers. So a big part of your expression is like, how do we become more free? How do we spread our wings? How do we take those leaps that are meant for us to take? And a big part of, like, I love to see just how congruent these are, this energy is, because I feel like the more centered you become within yourself, the more that things just happen in a very miraculous way for you. And it's like a beautiful unfolding. So how you talk, we have rebirth. Yeah, transformation is totally what you're here about with all this fire. I was definitely picking up on that. We have 9 coming up again, so more of that Sag energy. So yeah, your expression is all about rebirth. It's all about becoming the best version of yourself. I wouldn't be surprised if you like teach about it in some sort of way. Next, we have Jupiter abundance. Yeah, so I feel like you just a big part of your expression is what comes along with just honoring the cycles of things. I feel like, one of the things that might be conflicting about other people, or like what, or something that like might trigger other people, is that I feel like sometimes they think you don't care as much as maybe you have expressed that you've cared to them before, because it seems like you move on really quickly, or you move on very easily. But I just think you're just in tune with the rhythms of the cosmos, and you understand the seasons. You're very centered and grounded in how energy moves and how the nature of reality operates. And so that it's really important to be in alignment with that divine flow. And I feel like, people think, just because they think it's easy doesn't always mean that it is. But I feel like you're one of those people that no matter what happens, you're going to be good. No matter what happens, like, that you've got yourself, that you have yourself to lean on, that you're never going to be broken to the extent that maybe you have been before. You're never going to reach the bottom of the barrel to the extent that you have before. And you're really someone that you feel like you can trust on, because you've tapped into that God within. You've tapped into that inner goodness, right? That inner beauty. So next we have the King of Swords. Yeah, your expression, you're definitely a teacher of some sort. I would be really surprised if you're not writing about it. You're not on TikTok or social media somehow expressing this, because the King is the most matured aspect of the air element, of the element of being able to beautifully and eloquently articulate ideas and expressing the self. So I would really be surprised if you're not talking about, how to honor your truth in some way, and energy work, or just aligning the chakras, or just something about becoming more pure, expressing the importance of centering and knowing yourself and going within, speaking about these types of things that we're talking about right now, and really helping people to align to their highest version as well. Next, we have the 5 of Wands again. So yeah, I feel like you really do stir up things for people, and it's not intentionally, but I feel like I feel like it's just because the way that you see reality is so, it's like, there's this quote by Ram Dass that's like, I would rather be free than right. And I feel sometimes when people are around you, they'd rather be right than free. And a big part of that is because they become so attached to their viewpoints, or so attached to the way that they think reality operates. Look at these people are plugging their ears. It's like they don't want to hear what you have to say or something, but they do at the same time. And I'm almost getting the sense that, just the peers that you're around might feel like, why is this person so good? Why is this person so great? What makes this person such an authority in what they have to what they're doing? Because I am getting the sense that your expression, the way you carry yourself is very confident. Okay. And, it's unassuming at the same time. It's such a beautiful combination. It's you're very humble, and it's that humility screams confidence, because, there's there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence. And arrogance is like, there's this energy of I have something to prove and like you need to respect me. And this humility that you have comes from like a place of true confidence where it's like I'm just in alignment with the cosmos. And when you're in alignment with the cosmos and the universe, like you got it going on, And so I feel like sometimes people so a big part of this too is like in terms of your expression, you see the value in things that other people don't. And especially for your age and especially for just like the environments you find yourself in, it's like you see value in things that you're like, I don't understand why more people aren't doing this every day, why more people aren't engaging in this all the time, why more people don't take this thing seriously, whatever this thing is, because, you're just like, you're pretty wise, pal number 2, and you're pretty tapped into your truth and you're pretty tapped into what you're here to do, what you're here to bring on the planet. And so I feel like it might feel like at first in your journey that things are moving slow. And I feel like a big reason is because you're just ahead of your years. You're just ahead of your time, I should say. And so sometimes, when we're just like wise beyond our years and just understand the value of something, the importance of something long before other people can catch up, it can be like a little bit frustrating, or we can feel like we're not on the right path or something. But I feel like this is really saying that, you've been really devoted to what feels truthful to you, even though there might have been some, even like a lot of internal conflict of like, is this really my path? Is like, I feel like I'm doing all the right things, but why has it been slow to go? Like, why has it been slow for me to create abundance? Why has it been slow for me to see the results of things? And I just really feel like a big part of it is you seeing yourself as the authority that you are. And just like the more that you speak it, the more that you embody it, the more that your world just like transforms around you. And I feel like you're seeing that more and more. But yeah, I feel like at first, it seems like people can recognize the wisdom that's being expressed through you. And I feel like it might just take them a little bit longer to see the value in like whatever that you're teaching about, to see the value in whatever it is that you're offering, whatever services you offer or something, because you're just a teacher, and teachers see things first or see things, they're here to teach, right? They're here to guide. They're here to lead. And lastly, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So a lot of patience. So how you talk, I feel like you're very like, it's interesting that we have this masculine, like direct over here. And then we have this very nurturing and patient over here. So I feel like your expression overall is one that is very warm, but very to the point also. I feel like there's something about your expression too that just knows, and this goes beautifully hand in hand with what we were just discussing, but you're someone that like a big part of your purpose and a big part of your lesson is learning patience, okay? And learning the natural unfolding of things, and to not make it mean anything about what you're doing right or what you're doing wrong. But I feel like if anything, it's like your guides are coming through and saying that might be a kind of a frustrating aspect, especially again with this 3 of Wands energy in reverse. It's like you almost question if you're doing the right thing because things haven't maybe happened as quickly for you as it has for other people. But there's a reason for that. There's absolutely a reason, and it's going to be different for everyone here. But when it pops off, it's about to be popping off, because I feel like internally there's a lot of, you always feel the expansions internally first before it manifests externally. And I feel like your internal world is very, very, very rich. And so as your cellular body becomes acclimated to this energy, like you could even be someone that experiences a lot of anxiety or something because your inner world and the codes that you embody are so bright that it takes your physical vessel some time to like stabilize into it. And so having patience with yourself in that stabilization is an aspect of your expression in this life. But when it's when those scales tip, man, it's going to pop off for you. Okay, so lastly, what is your superpower in this life? We have by the book. We have time to go. So yeah, again, there's so much here about moving when it's time for you to move. Okay, and you're not following what other people are saying is the right way to do. You're following your own wisdom. You're following your own highest guidance. We have star brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, and trust. And we have I remember, soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. So yeah, I feel like a big part of your superpower in this life is helping people release these ideas of societal constructs and how it's supposed to look, and to really just go after unapologetically those things that deeply call to their heart and soul, and to remember that we have a soul plan, to remember that we are guided by something much greater than ourselves. And that's something that you're naturally really good at, and that you helped teach other people in your own way. And there's something, I'm hearing the phrase, when you protect your purpose protects you. So there's something here about divine protection as you go about your day to day, as you go about, as you follow those things that, deep down, that you're here to do. Let's get a little bit deeper. We have the Six of Cups, superpower. We have the Ace of Pentacles. So yeah, you're definitely meant to have something that is extremely like financially stable, but I am getting the sense that maybe it's just like taken a little bit longer in terms of those things clicking into place of like, how do I take this spiritual business and this spiritual thing, or this thing that really has no plan, that there's no book to go by, there's no rule book. How do I really take this, run with it so it can create long-term stability? And that's something that you'll discover soon enough if you haven't already. So your superpower, man, you just have this addictive energy. You just have this energy where people love to be around you. People fall in love with you very easily. Again, that you're very lighthearted, but you're very in tune with your soul self. You're very in tune with your higher self. And so when people don't necessarily know how to be self-sourced, they don't know how to tap into that connection themselves. It can be like addictive to be around someone that does, because they're picking up on your connection to your higher self, and they're like, wow, this feels so good. This being tuned into a soul stream feels so good. And so I just feel like your superpower is you activate people. When you're in love with someone, you really, like, your attention on them is very healing, right? You have this very unconditional type of love where you show people, you like awaken their inner child, and you kind of reawaken this curiosity within them. You like help them become more spiritual just by them knowing you. They become more spiritual. Their heart begins to open. And yeah, I feel like you have a lot of soul contracts with a lot of different types of people in this life, and you're here to work with them in some sort of way, collaborate with them in some sort of way. We have the Devil, and we have the Wheel of Fortune wanting to come up in reverse position. So it's like, I feel like your superpower is you're not just going to let life happen to you or happen for you. Your superpower is like, you are very intentional about your direction and where you're going, and you don't see the negative things that happen in life. You don't run from them, and you see it all as a perfect aspect of your life, and as a very valid aspect of your life, as very necessary to happen. And especially those negative things, I feel like one of your superpowers is you see when things don't go your way, or when things like start to feel heavy. I feel like you take everything and you're able to transmute it very rapidly. So you see negative things that happen, or you get triggered or something, and you're always allowing it to be a catalyst to become a better version of yourself. So it's like, we can either use everything in our life to become more of a victim, or we can use all of the things in our lives as a vehicle of transcendence. And I am getting this sense that, you're just here to like live such a blissful existence and to live life on your own terms. There's so much here about that, again, that Sag energy, living life on your own terms. And the more that you do that, the more that you embody this like energy, the more that you center, and you draw your energy, right? We draw that Shakti into the center of our being versus it being scattered and dispersed. The more magnetic you become, and you would just attract things. You attract situations. People want to work with you. Brands want to work with you. People want to collaborate with you. People feel like they know you. People recognize themselves in you. People really trust you. And I feel like this life is meant to be very serendipitous for you, and one where there's, without a doubt, it's like you really trust. That's a big part of your superpower, is like, you don't know how it's going to work out a lot of the times, but it always does. And more you're just like, okay, I can really trust this. And when it feels like it's time to go somewhere, I trust it. I trust that it's part of my soul's plan. I trust it's part of my destiny life. I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to resist. When that wheel starts to turn, I'm not going to resist it, because I know on the other side of it is always greater prosperity. I know on the other side of it is always going to be a more expanded version of myself, even if there's a little bit of imposter syndrome that comes through at first. It's like, that's the fire element, is one it's not held back by the fears. If anything, it just sees everything as a teacher. It sees everything as an opportunity to grow and to become even better. And because of that, like, you just become more and more magnetic as the days go on, and people really see you as someone that is like an authority in terms of the spiritual journey, and in terms of like, this very entrepreneurial type of lifestyle, and this more free, expanded, new earth way of existing, where it's life on our own terms, and everything is kind of colored with this like this, I don't want to say rose-colored lens in a way that it seems like negative, but it's like rose-colored because that this universe is benign, because this universe is you, right? It's all God. It's all there is. And so there is this sense of loyalty and safety and trust that you gain more and more. And that is definitely your superpower, and one of the reasons why you stay so lighthearted and you kind of thrive in chaos is what I'm getting to, because you see how it's always worked out for you. And if anything, especially with this Pluto energy, this rebirth, you really thrive on those Phoenix rising moments. Like, when it starts to get really bad, you're like, okay, watch me. You're like, shit's about to pop off. And when things are bad, like even when you're younger, before you even had the awareness of like understanding the spiritual journey, you always knew there was a part of you that's always like, okay, this is supposed to shape me in some way. Like, you kind of understand the hero's journey. You've always understood the hero's journey since you could remember that, you knew you were here for something big. And so, I'm just getting the sense that you don't resist your destiny, that you don't resist, whatever life is bringing to you. You're leaning into it, and you're like, okay, this is seasonal. This is here to teach me, purify me, create me, shape me in some sort of way. And because of it, it's just like this very graceful, light existence. And this is beautiful. So I hope this resonated with you guys today. You are most certainly a badass. Continue just, being you, being light, being free. It's so beautiful. This is a beautiful energy to tap into. And if this was your reading today, let's see, go ahead, let's leave like a feather down below, because feathers came up so much, or like an owl or something if there's no feathers. And give this video a thumbs up. It helps other people find these healing and validating messages when they need them. And I hope to see you again soon. Much love. Hey, group number 3, welcome to your reading about what makes you a badass. I'm so excited for this reading, and the other readings have been so fun, so lit, so detailed. And one of the reasons why I wanted to offer this type of reading on my channel is because I really do be attracting some unicorns, and I just really appreciate you guys. And it's nice to switch things up, not be as like not be so deep, but these still be getting deep. Okay, I guess that's just part of my expression, your expression, because there's nothing really about even these readings that are, on the surface. So, so beautiful. That's a reflection of you guys and your level of depth and self-awareness and inquiry in general. So, 3 aspects to these readings. First is how you walk, how you talk, and what your superpower is. So another way of saying that is how you carry yourself, what your vibe is, and then like what your expression is like. And then lastly, just like your gifts, something you're really gifted at in this life that really adds to your calling and that makes you stand out. So I shuffled off camera just because we have like 9 different decks going, and I just wanted to save some time. So we're just going to jump right into it. We're asking the guides first and foremost, how does pile number 3 walk? How do they carry themselves, please? So first we have Oracle, wait for important information. So you're not one to like rush. You're not someone that's like in a hurry to like maintain the status quo. You're not someone that I feel like you're super concerned with, you're not super concerned with like keeping up with the Joneses or like doing things just to appear a certain way externally. I feel like you understand everything has a season, that life is cyclical, that we're not always in spring, we're not always in summer, that sometimes we're in fall and winter, and just getting the sense that your overall vibe is that you know a lot more than you let on, even if you let on a lot, even if you're like a talker or just, very communicative, like myself, for example. I feel like there's still so much more beneath the surface to you than what you're giving all the time. Next, we have wise one. Yeah, grow within your current situation. So yeah, I definitely am getting that there's a lot of wisdom that you carry. You're someone that other people look up to for as long as people remember you in this life, no matter if they met you when they were like a teenager or they meet you when you're an adult. You're someone that just carries a lot of wisdom, and you're able to communicate like the nature of reality. You're able to help people find peace within their circumstances, and to how to kind of utilize everything that's in their life to grow and to become the best version of themselves. So overall, I am getting the sense that your vibe and just what people pick up from you is someone that's very tuned in to the true nature of reality. With both the crow and the owl, there's so much here that suggests not only do you have deep psychic abilities, and you're able to you can feel into your timelines, you can feel into other people's timelines. I just get the sense that you guys are able to like really meet other people where they're at, and I'm just getting the sense that you guys know all different types of people too. I don't know why this is coming up, but your vibe is just that like you can get along with just about anyone, and you can connect with so many different types of people. And one of the reasons is because you're like a true mystic. Like your lens of perception is so expanded that, everything that's within that lens is inclusive. And so you can meet everyone within there. And so within that spectrum of expansion that you guys are operating from. So I am getting the sense that you can like peer into the paradigms of other people and really communicate to them in a way that like you can change your lexicon in a way that really allows someone else to receive the wisdom that you're sharing with them, no matter what level that they're coming from. So it's like kind of like someone that has a PhD, it's like they're able to teach all different types of levels. They could, even teach powerful principles to someone that's like in kindergarten, that kind of thing, and to someone that is also like on their level. Not that there's like levels, but someone that can just understand, the degree of nuance that I feel like you guys speak from. Very interesting that we have the golden egg, all about the heart chakra. And again, someone that is very led by intuition, someone that seeks the answers within, someone that trusts themselves above anything else. You guys are very compassionate. This is a spirit card. So again, all three of these cards really tell me that you guys are extremely spiritual individuals, that you guys really have a unique connection to your soul stream, and the way that your vibe is just that you are an extremely loving person. You're very approachable, but also that there's like so much that like people get around you, they're like, wow, this person knows so much. And I feel like too, you just give off this aura of acceptance. I'm kind of getting like grandmother feels with this, and just like motherly feels. Like you really accept people where they're at, and you really honor everyone as an extension of source, as an extension of yourself. And I feel like you're not one to like jump to conclusions too. You understand that there's so many different layers and reasons why people are the way that they are, why your life is the way that it is, why certain things happen. You're not someone that's like very black and white thinking of like, gosh, there's so many examples that just rushed into my head at once when I was asking Spirit for an example just now. But, you're not someone that's like, wow, this person did this, so it means this, this, and this. You're like, no, like you understand that, when you understand that there's many different layers to things, and that, sometimes people have the best of intentions, but are acting from places of like insecurity or something. And sometimes actions and behaviors and intentions don't align when we're operating through protection mechanisms. So overall, I feel like you're a very open person. Like you're someone that shares with other people, like how you've grown. And I feel like you just, even no matter your age, you have a lot of life experience. And so like when someone is coming to you with like a problem or something, or like they don't understand their certain situation, you're like, oh yeah, like actually I was in something similar, like, and this is how I looked at it, this is how I viewed it, and this is how I grew through it, this is where I am now. And so I feel like you don't like share too much. I'm not getting that you're like an overshare, like a trauma dumper or anything, but I just really feel like you help people through your own experiences understand, things from the level of spirit, things from the level of the soul, and less from, again, that black and white, very 3D perspective. And yeah, you just have a very open heart. Like, you want people to be free. You want people to enjoy life. And I am getting the sense that one of the reasons why you have such an open and compassionate heart is probably because you've been through some stuff, right? You've been through, some things that have brought you into that level of, you understand suffering. And so you want to help alleviate that for other people. So, yeah, your vibe overall, the Empress, yeah, you got it all. You are like a goddess or, a god, whatever you resonate with, but I am getting a lot of divine feminine energy here. So someone that's extremely nurturing, queen of all queens, king of all kings, someone that's very generous, someone that other people really, really admire. Like, you give off very regal and royal types of vibes. Just people respect you. There's just something about you that people respect. And even I'm seeing someone even just walking through the stores, walking up and down aisles, and people are just enamored by you. There's something about the energy that you give off, for sure. Yeah, this is the vibe. It's you give off a very strong vibe. You give off a very potent kind of even if you tried to blend in, you couldn't, because your energy is very noticeable. So your vibe, Wheel of Fortune, yeah, you come into people's lives and they feel like they have won the lottery. You come into people's lives and they feel like this is not an accident. They feel like there's something really relevant to why you're there. And I feel like you understand that too, because you're operating from the realms of understanding the soul's journey. I feel that you really know that when you have a certain connection to someone, it's you're okay, there's something here. There's something important about this connection. And yeah, I feel like you show up for your divine assignments. You show up for these relationships, these connections, the things that you're guided to do in this life as a divine assignment. And so again, your vibe is that everything you do has purpose. Everything you do has intention. Everything you do touches, turns to gold. Everything you touch turns to gold. And there's a lot here about just overall, yeah, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus kind of vibes. I was hearing something about Taurus too, or second house placements. It doesn't obviously have to be necessary. You could have any one of these signs in particular. Again, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus, in significant placements in your chart, but you don't have to. But I wouldn't be surprised if you guys, did in, several of those. So I feel like overall your vibe is just that, you're a man or a woman on a mission, and you're here to help change the world and change people from the inside out. Yeah, to connect with people on a really authentic level. You give off this energy that you really actually care about people in your life. I feel like, again, there's so much here about generosity, whether you're generous with your finances or whether you're generous with the advice you give, or whether you're generous with just listening to other people. I feel like, again, you're able to sense what people need, and it's not like you're changing yourself in order to meet other people in a way that is because you need them to feel a certain way about you. You genuinely, pile 3, care about other people. You genuinely have a heart of gold, and people feel this from you. People feel that you're someone that is they feel really lucky to be in your presence. They feel really lucky to have a friend like you, to have a lover like you. And lastly, 6 of Wands. So the vibe you give off is that you are meant to be successful, that you are successful in some way. People are what does this person do? That whatever you do in life, again, has a big purpose, and that you're probably known. People are wow, this person is probably known by a lot of people, or they have to be doing something where they're in the spotlight, because there is something here about not just physical attractiveness, but again, your energy is so potent. That's what true attractiveness is. It's your auric field is so bright, so magnetic, so big, that people are just drawn to you. And I feel like one of the reasons too, there's something, again, you're so spiritual, okay? And so whatever practices you do to help continue to expand your consciousness and develop even greater radiance, I feel like it just attracts 11:11 on the clock. It attracts the right situations, the right people, the right things at the right time. There's so much here about serendipity and luck and being at the right place, the right time, and letting intuition guide the way. And becoming just like more and more successful as the days and the years go on, just like becoming even more yourself, becoming even more comfortable in your own skin. And because of that, it's like things just flow for you so easily. This is such beautiful energy already. We're going to get into how you talk and what your expression is. We have Lilith power. Fuck yeah, definitely I'm feeling this. Like, you speak with power, you speak with conviction. It's like people, when you talk, people want to listen, okay, to what you have to say. People take your advice very seriously. I want to say that you give advice to people, and people like are thinking about it for like days and weeks later. Like, you really help empower other people and bring the power back into their hands when they've forgotten how powerful that they are. Next, we have growth. So yeah, growth and power. I mean, this is a really great way to sum up what I'm seeing here, because there is a lot of that. There's a lot here about how do we become the best version of ourselves, like really like leaning into our destiny, leaning into why we're here, and knowing that that's a process of continually breaking open, like releasing layers, like cracking the hardened shell around our heart and becoming, true power is like rooted in vulnerability. True power is rooted in just being like a little unhinged sometimes. And what I love about Lilith, man, I came into Lilith's archetype, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, probably close to 4 years ago. My roommate had this goddess book, and I remember I was going through something to where, there's a point in our journeys, I feel like, where we like, it's like the dark feminine era where we start to break through all of these misconceptions of what it means to be a divine feminine. And I was so set free by Lilith's expression, and how wild she was and how untamed she was and how she embraced her anger. She embraced her jealousy. She embraced her wild side. And, I just remember I called back so much of my power within that. And so I really feel that a big part of your expression is you are not about like, you're very spiritual, but you're not like, what's the word? Like spiritually materialistic, where it's like, okay, I don't drink, I don't imbibe in this, like I don't cuss, it's like, you're very real is what I'm getting. And you don't equate growth to looking any certain type of way. You don't equate growth with like, it looks like I'm pure. It looks like this. It looks like I'm celibate. It looks like this. Like, you're just so yourself, and there's so much here about consistently shedding skin and consistently glowing up, consistently coming more and more into your power. And so I wouldn't be surprised if you like talk about this, or just like your expression in general is like very much so where people are like, wow, this is a really real ass person. Like, this person is not only so wise, but they're real too. And you give people a different idea of what it means to be spiritual, to what it means to live a spiritual life. You really, again, bring back the power to people by reminding them it's all here, it's all now. And that, the whole thing about growth and honoring our truth and the wise one within and really unlocking our power is remembering that, as many people that have ever been on this planet are as many paths there are to return to God, right? And as many incarnations that we've taken, etc. And so there's something about your expression that like really honors where you're at, not trying to be someone you're not trying to be somewhere you're not, and really just being like, hey, this is who I am, this is where we're at, and really enjoying the journey of growth along the way. So let's get deeper into your expression. We have Uranus, change. Yeah, I would definitely say that not only is Uranus about change, but it's kind of like revolutionary, and I feel like there's something here too about like, I'm getting that like Aquarian. I heard Aquarius. So yeah, Aquarius continues to come up. And what I'm gathering from that symbol that the guides are giving me right now is that what you do is not just focused on yourself. Like, what you do and what you talk about, your expression is really like, it really takes into account the entire human experience and just nature in general. And so again, there's like this your whole expression is like, there's not a one size fits all. Like, we need to honor our own individual truths. And the more that we honor our truths, the more that we honor our nature, where like these beautiful expressions of nature manifesting in each moment, that's when we really unlock our power and our confidence. And there's so much here about the more authentic you become, pile number 3, the more things just come to you, the more opportunities are presented to you, and the more things just flow in and out of your life. And so I feel like there is a lot here about always up leveling, right? Always growing. You're always changing. You don't stay stagnant too long, even even though there is a sense of like a lot of fixed energy. And just like, I feel like the fixed energy that I'm getting from this is like, you're fixed to the mission, but you're not in like your calling, but you're not fixed to like how it manifests. You're not fixed to like one particular individual or person. Even though you could have moments, sure, where you get like super attached to a connection or something, but overall, there's nothing that really like locks you down or ties you down. You're always on the, growing, and the direction you're growing in is in, empowerment and communicating that on some level. And next we have hearth, Vesta. So this reminds me of like more of like the hearth in the home type of energy, like protecting your purpose, and your purpose is protecting you. So you really talk about honoring your truth above anything else. And when you make changes, when you are making, make or break life decisions, I feel like a big part of what you communicate and stress to people is that it's honoring your innermost wisdom above anything else. And that's how we really maintain our power. That's how we really live a life that is like continually prospering and bringing more and more prosperity across the board. So next we have strength. This is interesting because I did see you had 2 strength cards come up. There's 2 in this deck. There's like 3 lovers cards in this deck to honor, hetero couples, women and women, men and men. And then there's also 2 strengths and then 2 justices, because, it's just honoring the fact that sometimes strength is 8, sometimes strength is 11. But I keep them all in because I know it's a really prominent energy when this happens, when the same card comes up in one reading. Okay. So there's so much here about, how your expression is all about overcoming internal obstacles, and that we are our biggest impediment to becoming our best version. Like the thoughts that we think, the changes that we make, and like everything that we do. I feel like a big part of what you communicate in your expression is about growth and consistently overcoming those obstacles, and knowing that not only are those obstacles there for a reason, but usually that reason is to unlock more of our power, is to reveal to us our strength. It is to reveal to us, that's what the hero's journey is all about, that internal, that inner journey, or that inner hero. Next, we have 7 of Cups. So yeah, you're able to meet so many different people where they're at with the 7 of Cups energy. It's like you're able to like, I wouldn't be surprised too if you have all different types of connections, like different types of friends, and you don't judge. I'm getting the sense that you like really just truly love people, and you're able to you make friends really easily is what I'm getting. You make friends easily, you make connections easily, and you just really love people. You're definitely building something here, like some sort of community. Sun, yeah, you radiate positivity, you radiate power, you radiate strength, you exude this light, you bring illumination into people's lives, you leave people feeling very inspired about what's possible in this life, what they can do, who they can become. You speak truth into people's lives, okay? You see the power, you see the potential in people, and you draw it out of them. Not only are you able to identify it, but you really like draw it out of people, because they don't feel that they have to put on a show around you. And through that relaxed sense of like acceptance, their best version can come out. Okay. So yeah, this is so beautiful. This is really powerful. You're a very powerful being, and naturally you inspire people to change. Naturally you inspire people to want to reach for their dreams, their goals, their aspirations. And I wouldn't be surprised if you guys do that on a consistent basis as well. So your superpower, pal, number 3, flexible. We have flexibility, so going with the flow of things. So could have a lot of mutable energy as well. Sag, Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and a leg up. Yeah, it seems like your superpower is that, like, again, you are so connected to spirit. It just seems like you can go with the flow very easily. It really seems like, this talks about spirit guides. It can talk about spirit guides. This can talk about spirit guides, right? This can talk about spirit guides. So there's a lot here about you have a deep connection to your guides and to your soul self, being able to hear your soul self. Again, when I'm dealing with this type of energy in a reading, this tells me that you're very clear, clair something, right? Clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentience, clairknowing, claircognizant, maybe, a good combination of all of those things. We have all of them, but definitely have different strengths, or some of them are more elevated than others, but they all help each other out. You know what I mean? And so I feel like you just flow with life so well. The way you make decisions is not how other people make decisions, but it seems like everything's always working out for you. You're not rigid in your way of thinking. Again, you're able to meet so many different people where they're at, and I feel like you really go with the flow. Like, you're more committed to truth than you are to consistency. All right, I'll say that again. You are committed more to truth in each moment, every day, than you are consistency to consistency. And I'll give a really prime example of this. For the longest time, I was like, I'm poly, like I don't do monogamy, that kind of thing. And then, find myself in a dynamic where that has completely shifted, and, it feels more truthful and more growth oriented and more relevant for me to explore something more monogamous, right? So that's kind of like what I'm getting. It's that like, you don't really fix, again, it was like the same calling to always honor your truth in each moment, but it's going to change, right? And you're not really attached to how people see you. You're not really attached to the consistency. You're more attached to like, okay, this is just what feels right in this moment, and I'm going to go with it. There's so much freedom here. That's true power. That's Lilith, right? That's Lilith of like, okay, this was who I was yesterday. This is who I was last week, but my truth is changing in this moment. And a big part of that is because you're consistently expanding your lens of perception. So another example based off that one that I just gave, like there was a while where I was like, yeah, like I'm into freedom, I'm into soul growth, and I'm into like if something's relevant for someone to explore with someone else, I want them to honor that. And while that has not changed, I definitely believe that. I understand, or I've come to see how a big part of that open thing was coming from a wound. It was coming from a protection mechanism, a deep abandonment wound that I carry with my mother. And like, so it's like, okay, people are going to leave anyways. I might as well leave the door open, 22 on the clock. I'm just going to leave that door open since they're going to leave anyways. And also, so I don't get too attached. Also, so there's like, it's a protection mechanism to not fully surrender into something. So that's kind of what I'm getting. It's like you're so aware of the subtleties that it's like, you're neither here nor there, and it's like, what's truthful to you in one moment could change and very soon. Or like the example I gave, it can still exist. They can coexist, right? You can believe in freedom and honoring people's, journey as a soul, and honoring people like exploring, just like being free, but then also like, honoring your freedom, but also being very devoted to like one individual, one person, or one thing, one life path, that kind of thing. So take that how it applies to your situation specifically. Next, we have double mission. Yes, I feel like that's literally what I was saying. Like it can be both, not so like either or. It can be both. And your superpower this is Lightwork or Starseed. Serve the world by being you. There's so much here about authenticity, and like you're very different. Okay, you're very different, and I hope you honor you're different, how different you are, how unique you are, because you're definitely not meant to be here to be someone that is like, oh yeah, this is what I do, and have a lot of people like understand you, at least at first. But the longer people are in your field, they're like, oh, but that kind of makes sense. I've never heard of that before, but I could see that. Okay, I could dig it. Like this person is very wise. I could tell this person is very authentic, very genuine, really honest, really in alignment with integrity. So whatever they're doing, whatever they believe in, I'm kind of like interested in that. So a big part of this too is like the whole notion about starseed, whether or not you believe in it, to me, that's just symbolically the codes for you are a being that is operating from higher levels of density. Okay. So the veil is much thinner in pile number 3's world. Okay. You see things from, again, a much broader perspective. You're also here to shed light, right? And to help illumine and to illuminate things for other people. So you're very gifted in doing this. Your expression is very like, in some way, I feel like you are meant to be teaching this. You are meant to be helping other people understand the nature of reality. Okay, this is definitely not like a passive kind of life that I'm getting where you're just like, and it could be just through your energy for sure. I'm not going to knock that, but for majority of the people here, I do feel like in some way you are in the spotlight, in some way you like are running shit. Okay. And, people want to help you out too. Yeah. You're superpower. You're so authentic. People want to give you a leg up. People are like, I want to help this person. Like I want to take care of this person because they feel so taken care of, around you in whatever way that they have available to them. So I'm sorry, defenselessness, righting past wrongs, uprooting. So your superpower. Yeah. Again, you're not attached to, your ego in the sense that you would not apologize when it's needed. And I feel like you're a very accountable individual. Like when you fucked up, when you did something that was out of your integrity, but you also understand the journey of the soul is not clean. It's not a seamless, perfect journey. And so you don't hold it against yourself. You don't hold it against other people. You really radiate like Christ consciousness. Okay. You're really in that zone, I would say, in that realm, very close to where it's like, you have a very open heart. You understand the golden rule, treat others how you would treat yourself. And, you guys are a very high density type of person. So like, I would even say fourth density between fourth and seventh density. If you don't know what that is, basically it's like heart chakra, heart chakra and beyond is kind of where you guys operate. You've like kind of mastered the lower chakras, and those aren't really what are like what pull you around. You're not pulled around by power, self-image, sex, control, money, etc. All those, although you understand and recognize those are important in this life, you operate from the higher chakras where it's like you're in integrity, you care about other people, okay, and you treat other people how you want to be treated. And because of that, again, it's like people just feel your authenticity and they just want to help you. They're like, whatever this person is doing, like, I'm on their team. I'm going to support them. So next we have Four of Swords in reverse. We have Two of Pentacles for superpowers. We have the World. Put this up here. And we have Nine of Pentacles. So yeah, you're very self-sourced. I feel like you have different things that you got going on for you, just because I feel like you're very gifted in many areas. There's a lot of things that you do, right? I'm just getting that you're a jack of all trades, that you are someone that is like kind of very like busy, like always on the move. Sag, Pisces, Virgo, Gemini kind of energy, always on the move, always trying new things. If anything, your superpower is that like, I feel like when you're reaching burnout and you honor that, right? And you also honor the times when you're feeling kind of manic and when there's a lot of energy, and you kind of just go with the cycles. You don't make it mean anything bad. So like when you're having a lot of activations or whatever, and we tend to like eat less and we sleep less and we're just operating from like really expanded levels. I feel like you just honor when that's there and you just roll with it. And then you're like, okay, when it's, when it shifts back to something else, I'm going to honor that too. And there's a lot here too about your superpower is you have burned through a lot of generational karma is what I'm hearing. You really burned through a lot of things that were hard for your ancestors, like genetically, to burn through, and you help people as well identify their hangups and to move beyond them as well. And yeah, you're definitely meant to be like successful and very self-sufficient in this life and doing a lot of things. Like you have the capacity to like do many things, like you're gifted in many areas is what I'm getting. And so I am seeing someone that is probably traveling a lot, or like going from here to there, going to different events, hosting different types of events, like networking with a lot of people. Like the world is yours. The world is your oyster kind of thing. You feel that. People feel that when they're in your presence. It's like you see life through the lens of like a child, and it's very exciting to you, right? Always moving, like this flexible kind of go with the flow type of energy, meeting new people everywhere you go, and making connections, and just again serving the world by being your most authentic self, more and more as you go. But this is a very beautiful energy. You're a very inspiring individual. What makes you a badass? A lot. There's a lot of power that you wield, pile number 3. You're a very powerful individual. You're very tuned in. Things are just like consistently going to keep looking up and up for you in this life. Especially if you're just staying committed to, what feels right for you and not letting the outside influence you in any type of way, suggesting that they know it's best. You're consistently like, even getting this. There's so many different ways, but it's just like you operate by a truth that is like your own. And so what might feel relevant one day, might not feel the next. And that's so freeing. That's one of the main ways that I feel like people learn from you is like, oh, wow, like I can change my mind, like I can still be authentic and integral, a person led by integrity, and also like, change my mind, or, my, not even the mind. It's not even coming from the mind, but like the mind is just along for the journey. And it's like, you're just going with the flow of things, and you're really showing what it means to be like an embodied goddess, an embodied God, an embodied spiritual person in this life. So, if this was your pile today, let's see, go ahead and leave. What should we leave down below? Go ahead and leave like an owl, or what, I don't know, an egg. Are there eggs down there? I don't know. I just keep seeing the eggs here, or like the crystal ball or something. Your favorite emoji, whatever. Snake for all the transformation. Give this video a like. This all helps my messages reach people that need these confirming, validating messages. And I hope to see you on my channel again soon. Much love.